And so when it comes to that mastermind principle, diverse perspectives and skill sets, as you bring people together, you're able to then take all that collaborative experience and wisdom and thrive in each of your areas, not just with one person in the business they're working with, but as shared community within themselves. One of my favorite quotes by Steve Jobs is, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. I remember the first time I heard this word solopreneurship because it resonated so much with me because I was the embodiment of what a solopreneur was. At the beginning, I was doing every single thing alone. When I first started posting on Instagram, I was the one doing the pictures and the videos. I was the one doing the editing. I was doing the posting and scheduling. And not only that, I was using the simplest of simple tools because I didn't know jack squat about what was going on. The pictures app in your phone, that's what I was using to edit my photos to then post onto Instagram. And when I think about this wonderful principle from Napoleon Hill of the mastermind, I think about the group of individuals who bring their power and bring their experience together to then be able to push out an extraordinarily wonderful outcome. Other words can be used as like synergy that I'll be able to talk about later. But with solopreneurship in my journey, I just remember trying to do all of this myself and realizing how much hard work it was. That's why I resonated with Grant Cardone and Gary Vee, because they're like, you just got to grind, you got to hustle. This is the hardest work you're going to do. You just got to keep going. And I'm like in the background, yes, yes, Grant, yes, Gary, I think I can do this. It's getting harder, but we can do this. One thing I didn't realize, and that what they didn't talk about at the time was, yeah, you got to grind. Yes, you have to work and put in the effort, but you don't have to do it alone. There are many people out there who are going through the exact same thing. And I want to stress the importance of just not being a solopreneur, but the value of what a mastermind group can do and the value of having people around you to support you. Because success isn't achieved alone. A mastermind group provides collaboration, perspectives, and really the biggest thing, accountability to be able to help and support with our potential and what we're doing. And so I'd love to share with you guys, as I've gone through my solopreneurship journey and then stopped because that's not the way you should do it, and into the realm of doing it with a team and doing it with other people, three things kept coming up. And I want to share them with you because these are three things that have worked for me to go from where I was to where I am today. And I want to share them with you so hopefully you can get a golden nugget or a few of them to be able to implement into your life and to hopefully get yourself a team who helps you and can support you. The first principle is what I call collaboration and synergy. These two words are not things that are innovative, aren't things that I created myself. They are used everywhere. But the combination of these two in a principle is very powerful. The book that I think about when I think of this is the seven habits of highly effective people. I was about to say the 7 habits of Think and Grow Rich, but those are two separate books. Stephen R. Covey's 7 habits of highly effective people and the sixth habit of synergize. This is the creative cooperation where the whole of what happens is greater than the sum of its parts. So as you work together creatively, this leads to outcomes that wouldn't be possible with us individually. I love the example it gives. Two people are walking to a tree, and the tree has 5 apples in it. Both boys are standing on the ground trying to reach for the apples, and neither can do it alone. It's just too high. So you got 1 + 1 = 0. But they when they're going through this and thinking of ideas how to get the apples, one of the kids is like, okay, why don't I get on your shoulders and then we should reach the apples. So he gets on the shoulders and the boy is able to grab all 5 of the apples. And in this example, it's a wonderful thing to share that 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. doesn't equal 0, but 1 plus 1 in this one equals 5. The sum of its parts is greater than, I think I said that wrong. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. There we go. Because as we each collaborate and do our each individual things that we're strengthened in, when we come together, we are able to create even more. And I love this example because it's not about addition. We think a lot of things about addition. Me and my wife are together and we're able to add kids to our family. But if you simply leave it at that, that's not a way to raise a family, and that's not the way to be able to stay together. But I realized that as my wife and I communicate, as we go throughout life together, as we bring in our kids to be able to raise them and teach them principles, it is not addition, it is multiplication. So in multiplication is progress and progression. And that's where synergy comes in. Because like I said, it's the ability to work together that leads to the outcomes that we could not do alone. So that's the first one, is collaboration and synergy. Because as we do that, we can get different perspectives and allow each of our perspectives to tackle those different problems from various angles. The second principle, diverse perspectives and skill set. One of my favorite books that teaches this is Outliers, the story of success by Malcolm Gladwell. And one of the principles he talks about in here is the wonderful 10,000 hour rule, which I'm sure most people have heard about. But with this rule, it also teaches about the impact of diverse backgrounds and experiences on success. When you think about the 10,000 hour rule, you think about that you need 10,000 hours in order to reach mastery, right? If you put in those hours at that moment where you hit that 10,000th hour, not exactly because it's an example, but when you hit there, that's when you become a master, because you've put in so much time, you've put in so much experience, you've gone through the great and you've gone through the terrible and everything in between. And from that, you've been able to come out on the other end and master the skill, the principle, the whatever it is that you're working on. In the mastermind, members can leverage each other's expertise, where they put in their own 10,000 hours, but then also other people's 10,000 hours, and they're able to complement each other. So if someone has an issue whereas they're working on their business and they go to a mastermind group like Champion Circle has, we're all able to get in together and that problem is able to be solved. Not just by one, but everyone there, because they give their resources, they give their connections, they give everything within themselves. And as they be that 100% selfless to the other person, that individual is able to obtain their strength, obtain experience from each of those members. And maybe let's just say you jump into a group that doesn't have people who have like their 10,000 hours of experience. Let's just say people have only had like 2,000 or 3,000. If you get 5 of those together, that reaches that goal. So I think it's pretty cool that you yourself don't have to reach mastery in order to start and make something great, because as you pull people together, then you're able to combine your hours and then thrive in what you're working towards. And so when it comes to that mastermind principle, diverse perspectives and skill sets, as you bring people together, you're able to then take all that collaborative experience and wisdom and thrive in each of your areas, not just with one person in the business they're working with, but as shared community within themselves. And then the third principle that I'd like to share is the accountability and motivation. Now, one of my favorite books, I keep saying that, one of my favorite books. I love books, and this is one of my favorites, Atomic Habits by James Clear. In here, one of the things that he focuses on is the role of accountability in building effective habits and sustaining motivation. So there's 2 parts of this. Let's jump into accountability first. So with that accountability, this is having other people hold you accountable. as well as the integrity side of us holding ourselves accountable. I don't know about you, but whenever I try to be accountable myself, I can only get to such a degree. I can be accountable to myself, and I do every week when I write down things that worked for me, write down things that don't, evaluate my life. Like that's me being accountable, saying this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm improving on. But I can only go so far because sometimes we are just blind to what we do. In my speaking journey, I remember that I can watch myself on videos and critique what I need to. But when I have someone else come in and watch that same video, they'll say, "Willie, you're doing this wrong. Well, you're doing this right. Good job. But you can improve this to be able to improve the impact that you have in your speaking." And I can't get that. And it's not because I couldn't see it. It's simply because I did not have the experience enough or the perspective of someone else in order to see it. But now, since someone came in and mentioned it to me, now it's top of mind awareness, and then I can improve. So this wonderful thing about accountability partners is that they bring in their wisdom and perspective in order to increase the likelihood of sticking to habits and achieving our goals. And the mastermind, which provides basically built-in accountability, helps its members to stay committed to their objectives. And then the second part of it, which is the continuous improvement. This is the motivation part. The way to do this that I have experienced over the last 6, 7 years is if you are wanting motivation, do it first and the motivation will come. A lot of people think that motivation is simply getting inspired and then doing something. If you wait to do stuff when you are motivated, you are never going to get to where you need to go because we have so much time to be here, but we don't have that much time of us being motivated. Because once we feel motivated after a couple of days, after a couple of weeks, that motivation that we get in that moment starts to die down, in which then we fall back to the standard that we set ourselves at before. So, in order to increase that, we need to increase our standard as well as get around people to help support us. Now, with this continuous improvement, how do you get past that motivation block and how do you get into the habit of discipline? You make small, consistent actions. And as you do that, supported with accountability, this will lead to significant results over time. And that's why I love the mastermind method because it's the group of dynamic, like it's a group that helps you and encourages you to have regular check-ins, regular adjustments, and don't let you fall on the wayside. One of my favorite things. Why do I keep saying that? Favorite things. I have a lot of favorite things. Maybe it's just normal. All my life is favorite. One of the things that has helped me with accountability and motivation is to have multiple groups of people that I go to. So I have this wonderful group of Champion Circle who helps me to reach goals in 90-day segments. And they help me to do this by every month being able to jump on with a mastermind roundtable. And while there, me being able to share the problem that I'm facing, and then everyone else being able to help me. And from that, then I'm able to have an accountability partner to then help me through it. So I have one group. And I also have another group who I meet with literally every morning weekday. We jump on a call and we focus on one single thing that we are working on that week that is towards a goal. And then also I have sporadic friends who we also are working on goals. Like my wife, myself, and my sister-in-law are an accountability group with helping us lose weight. And we check in every week, right? So I have these different accountability groups. And from that, I know that from solopreneurship side, doing it myself, it puts me in the realm of I have to do everything myself. And I can only go past the experience that I can't go past the experience I have. But when I have multiple groups, multiple masterminds, multiple individuals that I keep on my side, then I'm able to push past the blinders that I have with my own experience and go out and thrive. Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president, did this. with his cabinet. I can't remember the book. I think it's called Team of Rivals, but it talks about the cabinet or the group of people that Abraham Lincoln surrounded himself with. I don't know if you knew this. There were not many people that agreed with him on his cabinet. And there were even some people who went against him, like literally was in competition to become president. That he's like, once he became president, hey, do you want to jump on my cabinet? I don't know everything and I want to see it from all perspectives. What a powerful leader. And so, just like Lincoln, we need to get people on our side, not just people who are yes men, but people who will offer you ideas, offer you the truth to be able to then go forward, keep you accountable, and keep you motivated. So, as I wrap this up, there are those three principles that I talked about in this wonderful principle of mastermind and going beyond doing it solo, which is the collaboration and synergy, being able to work together and amplify your success, the diverse perspectives and skill sets, which leverage others' unique abilities and expertise within the mastermind, and then accountability and motivation, using the group that you have to stay on track and push each other towards a goal. I'd love to leave you wonderful champions with a challenge. I want you to look at the people in your life and find out what you can do to find a mastermind group yourself. Whether you need accountability, whether you need to be able to have someone push you, or simply whether you just need new experiences. If you don't have one, Champion Circle is a fantastic one I recommend joining. There's also many individuals out there who are thriving and wanting to help people who are going through what they went through before. So I challenge you to go find that yourself, because with everyone together, that's where you get success. Success is a team effort. Don't try to do it alone. Your mastermind is your secret weapon.